Hey everybody, AJ here from Negative Supply. Today we are on location in Malibu. We are taking photos, developing them, and scanning them in the field. So follow along here on our story, and a bit later on today, we are going to do an Instagram Live of scanning film in the field after we develop it. So stay tuned for more. I'm gonna have my trusty Nikon F3HP with me, and we look forward to sharing the results with you soon. No, I needed the photo. That was the whole point.
What happened?
Well, I was trying to make a photo of the tide coming in, and the tide came in, which I predicted would happen, but I just stayed there and kept photographing it instead of running, and was overtaken a bit by water, but I think it'll be worth it. I'm gonna start heading back towards the truck and finish the roll there, because I have just a few frames left. All right, so I just finished shooting my first roll of BWXX. We're on the beach now, and I couldn't maintain social distance, so I put a mask on real quick. I'm about to load a second roll, but before I do, I'm gonna rewind this first one with my Nikon MD4 motor drive. So there's a two-step process. Press over on step one and press up on step two. Then it winds the roll back in, and you'll hear a click right there. That's the roll. And there's one finished roll. About to load the second now. EI 250, okay. Exposure index, you cool kids. All right, well, I'm just attempting to make a motion study of the water coming around this potato I just found here on the coast, but the waves are not cooperating. I'm waiting for the moment. I'm gonna continuous drive on this whenever it happens. It's gonna roll. Come on. No, I want it to come around it and then go back out. This is gonna be called Soliloquy of the Potato. My thoughts are my shoes are full of water, but it was hopefully worth it. I just shot half a roll on that. It's either gonna be Soliloquy of the Potato or Lone Russet or, I don't know. I was on a roll there. Just almost a potato pun. All right, so I just finished my second roll of BWXX. I'm gonna roll that back in now. And then we are going to find a spot nearby to develop some film, and we'll be back on the story in a minute. All right, so we finished shooting 2 rolls of BWXX. We are in Malibu, came down near one of the state parks, and I'm about to load up these rolls of film to develop. I'm gonna set this up here in a second, but this is my Harrison film changing tent. This size tent is good for obviously loading up rolls of film to develop, but I also use it to load and unload 4x5 and 8x10 film holders. I'll show a little bit more about that another time, but we'll be back on in a minute to give you another update. Obviously, I don't have running water out here, so I brought a few bottles of distilled water, or I think it's distilled, yeah. And it's at about 68 degrees, but I'm just kind of cycling water in and out. And we're also not pouring any water outside. We're putting it back in containers and putting it in a bucket when we're done, and we're gonna pour it out at the office. Just putting in a tiny amount of photo flow. Ordinarily, I would have that pre-measured. Ordinarily, I wouldn't be developing film on the side of the road. So ordinarily, this would be a lot smoother, but it is fun. It is fun. So photo flow, typically it's about 1/200th ratio. Got a little bit in here with 68-degree water, just spinning it around for 60 seconds. Then I'm gonna pour it in our bucket here. And then we're gonna try and dry this film before it's totally dark and then scan it. We'll be back in touch.
Bring a little white.
No.
We have images. Woohoo.
All right.
Nice.
On to roll 2. We'll be back in a minute. So I don't have a drying rack. I don't have a drying cabinet, but we have the wind, so that's what I'm using right now. And they're actually already pretty dry, so hopefully here in just a few minutes, we'll have our scanning setup up and going, and we'll show you some scans. So our scanning setup, I have my MacBook Pro. We have a basic Riser Mark 1, 5x7 Light Source Pro, 99 CRI. 95 would work well for black and white as well in this case, but 99 is what I had. Pro Mount Mark 2 with our 35mm adapter plate, dust removal brush, film carrier Mark 1. For my camera and lens, I'm using our Canon EOS 77D and 60mm macro. And we do have our film carrier 35mm lens hood installed. Using Canon EOS utility to tether, and then I am using FilmLab Desktop to convert live in the field. So we're gonna quickly scan a few frames. Film's probably gonna go everywhere, and it's really windy and cold, so we're gonna do this quickly, but hope you enjoy the results. No, the next time, we're gonna do BWXX and like 8x10 developing on the side of the road. That would be awesome.
Let's do it.
That would be really cool, like photograph people on the beach with the 8x10.